do me a favor? I want you to think back to your fondest memory of being a child. Think about something that brings you joy when you think about your childhood. Okay? Now, as you're thinking about it, I'm sure that you're smiling the same way that I am, just from ear to ear, thinking about how free you were, thinking about how little you cared about certain things that now we care so much about, right? I want you to think about the people that were around you in that moment. Maybe you were all by yourself. Maybe you were playing with your toys. Maybe you were watching a TV show with your family. Whatever it is, how free did you feel in that moment? And now I want you to think about how free in general we usually felt as kids, right? And that's not to take away from the fact that a lot of us, unfortunately, experience traumatic events in our childhood that molded us into the people that we are today. That is not to take away from that at all. What I want you to realize is, in this moment, the purpose of that question was to ask you about a time where you felt completely and utterly free. Free of judgments, free of expectations, free of negativity, just free as a bird, able to fly and be exactly who you were without caring about anybody and their opinions. Now, how amazing does that feel? You know, when they say to revert back to that childhood feeling of just freeness, childlike state of mind. People always say stuff like that, inner child. Connect with that inner child and dance like no one's watching, or just do something quirky that otherwise you would be too embarrassed to do, right? When I think back on childhood and the kind of kid that I was, it makes me really happy, and it also makes me feel very emotional. And I say this because when we're kids, we don't think twice before we do something that makes us excited or feel energetic, right? We just do what makes us feel good, what makes us feel alive. Now, as adults, we don't just do that. We don't just dive into a passion project that we've been sitting on for years. We don't just sing because we want to sing. We don't just dance when we want to dance. We're always constantly thinking about how it might make us look to others. I struggled with this even in my own home when I was in my early 20s. It was the weirdest thing. I sing, and living alone, I would still feel very nervous to sing out too loud because I didn't want my neighbors to hear me sing, which is just so fascinating to me now that I'm older, because I realized to myself, what were you so ashamed of in that moment? Singing brings you joy. Singing brings you peace. Singing is a part of who you are. It's a talent and a craft that you worked hard on. But unfortunately, society makes you think what is good and what is not. And if you feel like you might not fit into that norm of what is good, you kind of hesitate to do certain things, and there's a reason why you are the way that you are. And it's beautiful, it's fascinating, and a lot of people can learn something from you. You can learn a lot from yourself. So, I want you to think about the person that you expected yourself to be when you were a kid. How far off are you from that? And I'm not talking about necessarily like, I wanted to be a vet as a kid, right? I'm not talking about that. If you didn't become a vet, that's okay. What I'm talking more about is how you felt, how you feel now. How far away are you from that inner child? And how can we kind of connect the dots so that we can be closer to that feeling of freeness? That feeling of freeness from society's expectations, from the opinions of others. When you begin to love, and I mean deeply love yourself, unapologetically, without doubt, without fear in your heart, you begin to really see yourself for, wow, I am okay. I'm more than okay. I'm brilliant in my own special way. There's nothing wrong with being me. There's nothing wrong with being different. There's nothing wrong with what I want for myself. Even if it's different than what my sister wants, even if it's different than what my brother wants, different than what my parents expected me to be, different than what my teachers expected me to be. Who are you? Who do you want to be? How can you get there? Holding on to these opinions of others will keep you stuck, because it'll keep you fearful of who you are and what you're capable of. Because if it's too different than what others want for you, you might be too scared to dive in to everything that it takes to be authentically you. And is that fair when you think about it? I don't want you to live a life that is mediocre, is expected, is okay with those around you. I don't want you to live just okay. I want you to live that life that you want to live. This is not to knock anyone on their journey at all. Everybody is who they are because that's who they are. And I appreciate and love and want to respect and meet everybody where they are, because we all have the ability to change. Some people might not want to change, but you're watching this video and still here with me because you do want to change, because you don't want to living for the opinions of others. You want to live for you. I am so proud of you for taking that step. It's not easy to realize that you're not comfortable in living for the opinions of others or for the acceptance of others. It can be crazy to actually realize that and say, oh no, I don't want to live like this anymore. It's uncomfortable, but it's okay to be uncomfortable. It's okay to get moving out of that comfortability that you've been in for many years. You can start again. I tell you guys this all the time because I believe it to be true. Each new day is an opportunity to begin again and again and again and again. As long as you're breathing, you have the ability to change things in your life that you might not like so much. Things about yourself, right? How you view yourself should be completely and utterly to do with own personal experience, your own personal goals and visions for your life, not based on how other people want you to live it, how other people expect you to be. That is just something that you need to understand in order to move forward in confidence. Live your life for you. Live your life with the intention of making life for yourself and those around you better, right? I don't want you to live selfishly, but I do want you to live your life putting you first. There's nothing selfish about putting you first. This temple that holds you and your spirit together is so important. That's why we do things every day to make sure that we maintain this safe space, right? We brush our teeth, we take a shower, we go to work, we move our bodies to the capacities that we're able to do so. But we make sure that we do. We feed our brains, hopefully with good and loving information, and also the things that are going on in this world, so that we are aware of not only just ourselves, but our surroundings and what the world is going through, so that maybe we can be a part of that change that is necessary. With that being said, I want you guys to be compassionate to yourself along this journey. You are taking a step that is bold, that is super courageous, living your life to satisfy your needs, your own expectations. That is super important and beautiful and challenging. It's necessary for your growth. Once you start to let go of those ideas that people have of you, those opinions that people have of you that keep you stuck, that make you feel less than, you're going to start to realize that your love for self will start to repair the brokenness living and festering in your heart. Oh my God, how beautiful you'll feel to finally be free of that. How more connected you'll feel to that inner child that says dance like nobody's watching. Sing because you have a new song to sing. I want you guys to get excited for that. I want you guys to know that your opinion above all matters. What you view yourself to be is what matters, because you can change it. You have the ability to change the things that you don't like. You have the ability to see all the great parts of you, all the not so great parts, and go, you know what, I'll keep this. You know what, I don't really need this. It's yucky. And then you just let it go. And sometimes it might be like, wait. It's gonna creep up like this, right? And then you're gonna go, I reject that. Excuse me, didn't I throw you out already? Okay. So like, even if it arises in your spirit again, you already know how it looks, you already know how it feels, you already know that you don't want it. And then you just go, didn't I say I don't like you? The same way you wouldn't eat something that you didn't like twice is the same way I want you to reject that negativity. The same way, if you don't like mushrooms like me, I wouldn't eat a mushroom. I'm sorry, I've tried. I don't like it. It's for me. So like, if somebody hands me a plate of mushrooms, I'm not just gonna go, oh my God, I'm gonna eat these mushrooms because they want me to eat these mushrooms. Like, I'm gonna respectfully tell them, like, I don't really like mushrooms. So I hope that you can understand that and respect that I don't like mushrooms. Anybody who tells you, well, eat these mushrooms, excuse you. Excuse you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't accept that. That negativity does not belong to you. That's a them issue. That's not a you issue. And if you do feel like when somebody tells you something negative about yourself, it's easy for you to believe, then that's where you do some inner work and you realize that maybe you do feel that way. Maybe that's why it's so easy for you to relate to what they're saying about you, those negative thoughts. But just because you relate in that insecure moment doesn't mean that it's true. It doesn't make that a true thing. That means that is something that you need to work on within. So if somebody calls you ugly and it makes you feel like when you look in the mirror you are that, that's something that, my sweet, we can work on, right? That means that when you look in the mirror, you gotta tell yourself that you're beautiful a little bit more often. That means that we have to work on our self-love. And that's okay, because you realize it, okay? So it's all about recognizing the things that we can stand to change and actually having the courage to change them. Okay, so I love you. I hope this video served as purposeful. I hope that you have a good night's rest. Whatever time you're watching this video, I hope that it helps you to open your heart up to the possibility of change for self. Don't think about anybody else right now. Just think about you. Think about that little kid that you were, that was so fearless, that was so happy in those moments of just pure freedom. And connect with that. And think about how proud you want to make that person. And then work every single day to do that. That's what I do. That's why when I look at like baby pictures, sometimes I come to tears, because I can't believe that once I was that pure and innocent and had no idea about anything that I was going to be handed in life. And I've been handed some things. I've been handed some great things. But no matter what you were handed, you still deserve to live a good life. And you deserve to prove that to yourself. Okay? Okay. With that, I say, see you later. Be kind to yourself and live your life unapologetically yourself. And be a good person. Because if you're not a good person, I'm